Imagine standing in the middle of the Sahara Desert, nothing but sand in every direction. But now imagine that just beneath your feet lie the remains of ancient cities, stone temples, and entire civilizations swallowed by time and buried by the wind. That's not science fiction. That's real history. History we were never taught. For years, the Sahara was thought of as a lifeless barrier, just endless dunes and scorching heat. But thousands of years ago, this desert was green. It had rivers, lakes, and thriving settlements. We're talking about civilizations older than the pyramids of Egypt. Let's start with something wild. The Sahara wasn't always a desert. It was once lush and fertile, filled with forests and wildlife. Archaeologists have found cave paintings in places like Tassili Najjar in Algeria, showing elephants, giraffes, even boats in the middle of what is now a sea of sand. The reason? A climatic cycle called the African Humid Period. About 10,000 years ago, shifts in Earth's orbit brought monsoons deep into North Africa. Rainfall transformed the region into a green paradise. Lakes formed, some as large as modern-day countries. Lake Megachad, for instance, was once the biggest freshwater lake on Earth. So, people settled, and not just scattered families. These were organized societies. They built stone monuments. They left behind tools, pottery, burial grounds. Some researchers even suggest they developed complex knowledge of astronomy. Think about that. Civilizations in the Sahara mapping the stars thousands of years before Europe's first cities. One of the most mysterious pieces of evidence is Nabta Playa in southern Egypt. It looks like a mini Stonehenge, but it's older, way older. At least 6,000 to 7,000 years old, and the stones aren't random. They align with the stars, specifically Orion's belt. Why does that matter? Because ancient Egyptians also aligned their pyramids with Orion's belt. That's not a coincidence. It suggests cultural continuity, or even that the knowledge of the pyramids might have come from these lost Saharan peoples. But here's where it gets crazier. As the climate changed again, around 5,000 years ago, the rains stopped. The green Sahara began to dry out. Lakes vanished. Rivers turned to dust. And entire civilizations were forced to move or die. Many likely migrated toward the Nile Valley, bringing their knowledge and traditions with them. This could help explain the sudden rise of Egypt's early dynasties. Think about it. Advanced culture doesn't just appear out of nowhere, it evolves. And a drying Sahara could have been the fuse that lit Egypt's spark. There's more. Megalithic structures have been found throughout the Sahara. Giant stones arranged in patterns. Some resemble tombs, others ancient calendars. They're hard to date, but some are older than the pyramids. Take the megaliths in Niger's Air Mountains, or the monuments of Tikrit in Mauritania. These weren't primitive people. They had architecture, agriculture, and complex social systems. Yet, we don't learn about them. There's barely a mention in schoolbooks. Why? Part of it is because sand buries everything. Time erases what doesn't stand tall, but part of it is historical bias. For centuries, African civilizations were downplayed or ignored by mainstream historians. The myth was that Africa had no history, but archaeology is rewriting that story. Satellite imagery now reveals ancient riverbeds under the Sahara. Archaeologists are using ground-penetrating radar to scan beneath the dunes. What they're finding is astonishing. Possible city grids, stone walls, and artifacts scattered across thousands of square kilometers. And get this, in 2021, researchers identified what could be a 4,000-year-old city buried under the sand in Libya. They used thermal imaging from space. Thermal imaging. The future is literally uncovering the past. But here's the twist. Many of these discoveries aren't being talked about. They're buried, literally and metaphorically. Whether due to political instability, lack of funding, or academic gatekeeping, the full story of the Saharan civilizations is still locked beneath the desert. So next time you hear someone say, Africa had no ancient history, remember this. The sands of the Sahara are lying. They're hiding a forgotten world. There's a theory that links these ancient Saharan civilizations to even older legends, like Atlantis, but not the one lost beneath the ocean, a version rooted in the sands. Some researchers point to the Risha structure in Mauritania, also known as the Eye of the Sahara. It's a massive circular formation visible from space. It matches Plato's description of Atlantis almost too well. Concentric rings of water and land, a central island, surrounded by mountains to the north, close to the sea. The dimensions, strikingly close. Now, is that just coincidence? Maybe. But the Eye of the Sahara has never been fully excavated. There are stone artifacts, signs of ancient human activity, and nearby remains of what could be early settlements. It's not proof of Atlantis, but it's enough to ask questions mainstream academia avoids. And then there's the mystery of the Gara Mountains, an advanced desert civilization that lived in what is now Libya. They built underground tunnels for waterproof for garas, created vast cities, and even had written scripts. The Romans considered them barbarians, but archaeology paints a different picture. Sophisticated, independent, brilliant engineers. We often forget that desert people weren't wandering nomads. Many were masters of hydraulics, astronomy, and long-distance trade. Camel caravans once crossed the Sahara like highways. Gold, salt, ivory, all moving between kingdoms. These were economic powerhouses hidden by time. Let's not ignore the people who still live in the Sahara today. The Tuareg, the Berbers, the Tebu. They carry traces of these ancient traditions in their languages, symbols, and stories. Oral history matters, and when their legends speak of lost cities swallowed by sand, maybe they're not just myths, maybe they're memories. Modern technology is finally catching up. Drones, LiDAR, satellite imaging. They're showing us what's been hiding all along. And it's not just cities. It's an entire chapter of human history. A chapter where Africa wasn't isolated. It was central. A hub of knowledge, culture, and innovation. Long before the Sahara turned into a desert, it may have been the cradle of a forgotten golden age. The truth, we've only scratched the surface. There's more beneath the sand than we ever imagined. And the next discovery might rewrite everything we thought we knew about the ancient world. So keep watching, because in the next video, we're diving into the lost empire that traded with pharaohs and may have taught them how to build.